Yes friends, now let us start discussing the next subtopic of your foreign trade policy, where we'll be focusing on your reward schemes, which is very important from your exam point of view, because you have practical questions, just like we have discussed your status holder category, 1 star, 2 star, 3 star, 4 star, 5 star export houses. This also has got numbers, and it is very important from your exam point of view also. Friends, we are actually discussing about your chapter 3 of your foreign trade policy, chapter 3 both of your foreign trade policy given by your central government, as well as we are discussing about chapter 3 of handbook of procedures volume 1, which is issued by DGFT, right, which talks about your reward schemes, MEIS script and SEIS script. What is this reward scheme? We'll understand in a very simple manner. Right, first we'll discuss the differences between these scripts, and thereafter we'll understand the certain common points, and finally we'll take the practical questions. Now friends, when you talk about your MEIS script and SEIS script, they are incentives or rewards given by the government of India to the exporters of goods when you talk about MEIS script, and exporters of services when you talk about SEIS script. Service export from India scheme for export of services, and merchandise export from India scheme for exporter of goods, to promote them, incentive. And that incentive, friends, is given in form of a script, right? It will work like your credit ledger, just like your credit ledger which you had in your GST, and using that amount which is there mentioned in the script, you can make the payment of customs duty. Using that script amount, the script will have a value. Using that script value that you have, you can use it for payment of your customs duty. So that is the usage of the script. Now MEIS script, let us see the differences, friends. Your merchandise export from India scheme script is given to whom? Is for your exporter of goods, whereas your service export from India scheme is for exporter of services. And friends, MEIS script is given to whom? Is given to an exporter who is exporting notified goods in notified countries. Both notified goods in notified countries. First it is for notified goods, and when it is given to notified countries. So both criterias. So MEIS script is not for all the goods to all the countries. It should be export of notified goods, export to notified countries. Then only you have MEIS script. Whereas your SEIS, exporter of service, will get SEIS, service export from India scheme script. That is for export of notified services, true, but export to any country. So your MEIS is export of notified goods, export to notified countries. SEIS is export of notified services, mostly all the services are covered, but still few services are not covered. Notified services and export to any country, not notified country, export to any country. So here you find the difference. MEIS is notified goods, notified countries. SEIS script is for an exporter who is exporting notified services but to any country, Next, what is the condition for you to have your to get MEIS script if you are exporter of goods? Only one condition: you should be holding your import-export code. And the goods should be taken outside India to a place outside India. Actual export. It should be actual export. It should be actual export, which means you are focusing on goods actually taken outside India. It should be a case of India to USA, or India to China, or India to Pakistan, India to Russia, right? Deemed exports, DTA to EOU, and even DTA to special economic zone, they are not allowed. It should be actual export. Whereas friends, when you talk about when an exporter of service becomes eligible for your SEIS script, that is service export from India scheme, he should be holder of import-export code. This we have clearly discussed in the beginning itself. I code, it is a myth that it is required only for goods category. No. Even if you are exporter of service, if you want the benefits of your foreign trade policy, specifically SEIS script, you should be holder of I code. You should be holder of import-export code. So all the benefits of FTP will be given to exporter of services only if that exporter of service is holding import-export code at the time of export of service, not later on, at the time of export of service. Plus that exporter of service should achieve a particular amount, should receive a particular amount for that export of service. Current year minimum net foreign exchange earnings. It is not gross foreign exchange earnings, friends. It is net foreign exchange earnings for an individual or a sole proprietorship concern, which means you are talking about an individual or a firm which is based on individual, right? That minimum net foreign exchange earnings should be $10,000. Should be $10,000. And for others includes your partnership firm, LLP, company, any other sector, right? AOP, HUF, even HUF is covered by $15,000. So when I am talking about other persons, this includes your HUF, partnership firm, LLP, body corporate, etc., etc. For an individual or a sole proprietorship concern, it is reaching the target of $10,000 minimum net foreign exchange earnings, not gross, it is net. And for others, which includes your HUF, if the question is about HUF, it is $15,000. HUF for a partnership firm, or you are talking about LLP, body corporate, etc., etc., they should receive at least minimum $15,000 in that particular year. Now friends, one more point is, when you talk about this export of service, it can be actual export or a notional or a deemed export. So export of service means you are talking about supply of service from India to any other country, which is actual export, or supply of service from India to service consumers of any other country in India, which means that you are supplying services to a foreign national in India. Supply of service to US or supply of service to a US citizen who is there in India, a foreign national who is there in India. So friends, here the focus is both on your actual export as well as they talk about something similar to deemed export, though it is not technically deemed export, something similar to deemed export, right? Supplying service from India to outside India, or from India to foreign nationals within India, to service consumers of any other country, means foreign nationals in India. That we'll understand when we are discussing the illustration. Now friends, as already discussed, when you talk about your MEIS script, it is given to an exporter of goods if the export is of notified goods to notified countries, and this MEIS script percentage is depending on country to country. There are three categories of countries which will decide what is the percentage of incentive or MEIS script that you will get. So you have Group A country, Group B countries, Group C countries. And why this grouping is there? So based on the grouping, your percentage of MEIS script, your percentage of incentive will differ. And plus friends, you have to give landing certificate as a proof of export, because if where it is going and landing, that proof you should give. Supposing if at all you are talking about export of goods to USA, that is having a higher percentage, and export of goods to China, that is having lesser percentage. So you should give the proof of landing certificate where the goods have landed. So landing certificate should be submitted to see whether the goods are landed in Group A country or Group B country or Group C country, because based on Group A, Group B, Group C, the percentage will differ. The percentage will differ. Now friends, when you talk about your SEIS script, there is no such condition, because it is notified services to any country. It is notified service to any country or to foreign nationals in India, to service consumers of any other country in India. So India to USA or India to US citizen in India. India either to US, export of service from India to USA, or from India to a citizen of US in India, to a citizen of US in India. So there are two categories, actual and deemed. So that is nothing but repetition of what already we have discussed. And friends, what is the MEIS percentage script that you get? What is the incentive or the reward that you get? The percentage will be given in the question. It will differ from item to item and country to country, because you have category A, category B, category C, Group A, Group B, Group C countries, and the percentage will be different for different items, and different for the same item. It will be different for Group A country, it will be different for Group B country, it will be different for Group C country. Now friends, you have to understand that normally that percentage is 7%. So export value multiplied by 7%, and friends, export value is FOB value, which is declared in the shipping bill, or whatever is realized actually, whichever is lower. So your export value that you have shown in your shipping bill, or what you have realized in foreign currency, whichever is lower. So FOB value, but not exact what FOB value, what you have declared in your shipping bill, or what you have actually received in convertible foreign currency, whichever is lower. That percentage multiplied by FOB value. Whereas friends, when you talk about your SEIS script, it is the notified rate. Notified rate, it will be different for different cases. Normally it is 5%, but go with the rate given in the question. Notified rate multiplied by annual net foreign exchange earnings. Annual net forex earnings. Net foreign exchange earnings. And friends, if at all you are going for your MEIS script, we will be discussing when we are discussing in detail. You have to tell that you want MEIS benefit at the time of export itself. It is filed shipment wise. At the time of exporting the goods itself, you should tell that I want the benefit of MEIS, which means that it should be mentioned at the time of export in your shipping bill for each shipment, right? So you are talking about claim of scrip under MEIS is submitted at the time of each shipment. When you are exporting for each transaction or each consignment, you have to tell that I want MEIS benefit or not, and that is submitted in form ANF 3A, Ayat Niryat form 3A. ANF is Ayat Niryat form, import export form, Ayat Niryat form 3A. And when you talk about your SEIS script, it is not submitted for each transaction. No, it is submitted after the year is over. At the end of each year, after the year is over, in a form called as ANF 3B, annual basis. That is shipment basis, this is annual basis. That is shipment basis and this is annual basis. So friends, these points you have to understand in a very, very simple manner. So if I were to summarize this, your MEIS, your SEIS. So your MEIS is for exporter of goods, whereas your SEIS is for exporter of services, right? And friends, when you're talking about your MEIS, it is notified goods to notified countries. So when you talk about notified goods, the goods should be notified. The goods should be notified goods, and it is for notified countries. Group A country, Group B country, Group C country, and certain countries will not be covered in any of these groups. Whereas your SEIS script is for notified services to any country. So that will be only one column to any country. Here it will be Group A country or Group B country or Group C country, and each of the item will be having different percentage when it is given to Group A country or Group B country or Group C country, right? So that is one point. And second point, when you are talking about your MEIS script, it is shipment wise. You have to claim that MEIS script shipment wise. For each transaction or shipment, you have to tell that whether you want MEIS script or not. Whereas here, it is not shipment wise. After your entire financial year is over, you have to claim, and you have to claim on annual basis. After your year, and after your year is over, and you find what is the net foreign exchange that you want, you have to claim on annual basis. And friends, that claim will be equal to a particular notified percentage of FOB value. And what is that FOB value for goods? What is declared in the shipping bill or bill of export, or what is realized in convertible foreign currency, whichever is lower. Whereas when you talk about your annual basis claim of your SEIS, it is certain notified percentage multiplied by net foreign exchange earnings. Right? So that point you have to remember. And friends, if you talk about the other small aspects, mainly when you talk about the conditions, friends, it is a very simple condition. You should be an I code holder. You should have import export code. That's it for MEIS. Whereas for SEIS, you should have import export code, plus you should receive minimum $10,000 if at all you are talking about individual and sole proprietorship concern, and if you should reach $15,000 for others, right? For individual and your sole proprietorship concern, it is $10,000. For every other thing, it is $15,000 you have to achieve. Only then you can apply. And friends, you should be having your import or export code at the time of exporting the services. So that, friends, you have to remember. Now if you look at all these points, you will find the main point is what is the condition and the other points mentioned here. So if you look at this entire analysis, you will find that okay, things are quite simple here. Now if you look at all these points, we have summarized all the points given here, not even one point is left out, all the points given here into this summary chart. Only one last point which you have to read, which is again very important. When you talk about your MEIS script, the focus is only and only on actual export. What is covered is only India to USA, actual export, right? Deemed exports, even a special economic zone which is very similar to actual export, that is not covered. Only when the goods are going outside India to a place outside India, only that is covered. India to special economic zone, India to EOU, that is all not covered. When you talk about your SEIS script, friends, you have to understand that what is covered is India to USA, service provider in USA, or US citizen to a consumer of other country who's there in India. See, this is very common when you talk about educational institutions and clinical establishments. A foreigner is coming in India for his education or treatment. Now, in the service provider is in India, recipient is again, he is physically in India. So, it is given to a service consumer in India but belonging to other country. That person who is coming from outside India for his education or treatment is actually coming from outside India. So, to a service consumer who's come to India for that particular service, right? So, that is covered here. First category is covered here. So, when you talk about here also, India to special economic zone, not covered. India to EOU, not covered. So, this entirely gives you the clear picture of your MEIS script and SEIS script. It is a notified percentage. So, don't go with 7% and 5% which I have given. I have given generally it is 7% for MEIS, generally it is 5% for SEIS. See the percentage which is given because it will be different for different goods and different for different services. Moreover, when you talk about goods, it will be different for the same goods, different group countries, group A country, group B country, group C countries. So, that is all about your summary point of your MEIS script and SEIS script. Now, friends, how are you going to get the script and in what form you are going to use the script? Certain common points. So, how you are going to get the script and in what format you are going to use the script, and all the scripts now, it is all online. So, you will get the script online with the value mentioned. What will be the value? For goods, it is FOB value multiplied by the notified percentage. For services, it is net foreign exchange earnings, net foreign exchange earnings, right, multiplied by a notified percentage, So, when you get a script, first you are going to get a script, then you are going to either use the script or you are going to either sell the script. So, when you are getting the script, this is getting the script, you are getting MEIS script or SEIS, merchandise export from India scheme script or service export from India scheme script, and then you are talking about usage of utilization of script, utilization of that particular MEIS script or SEIS script. See, you can use it for certain purposes. If you are not interested in usage, what you will do? You will sell the script, sale of MEIS script as well as your SEIS script. So, the first stage is getting the script. You will be getting the script online. You are going to get the script online. So, you have to apply for the script online. You are going to get the script online. Online application is there. That ANF 3A for MEIS, ANF 3B for SEIS. ANF 3A for MEIS is for each transaction, each shipment. For SEIS, it is at the end of after the end of the year. It is on annual basis. That we discussed. MEIS is transaction basis, shipment basis. SEIS is annual basis, annual application, and you will get the amount. You will get the amount mentioned in the script. Friends, you have to understand that it is just like your electronic credit ledger. Just like your electronic credit ledger, just similar to your electronic credit ledger. Supposing the script value is, supposing your export is say 10 lakh rupees multiplied by say 5%, So, you are talking about 50,000 rupees coming in the script. That amount will be mentioned in the script. And when you are using the script, this is credit in script. This, friends, you are talking about credit amount in script. Credit amount in your script. Now, friends, can I use the script? Yes. Can I sell the script? Yes. So, this is the first stage where you are getting the script. The second stage, either you can use the script or you can sell the script. After you have got the script, either you can use the script or you can sell the script. For what you can use the script? For what purposes you can use the script? the scrip value, whatever amount is there in the scrip value, so you are talking about debit amount, debit amount will be on the back side of the scrip, debit amount of the scrip, which means that you are going to use the scrip, right? For what purposes you are going to use the scrip? You are going to use the scrip for payment of your customs duty. You can use the scrip for payment of your customs duty, whether the goods are free goods or whether the goods are free goods or whether the goods are restricted goods. So you can use the scrip even for free goods as well as restricted goods. Even if the goods are restricted category under your ITC HS, that is Indian Trade Classification HS, when you are importing such goods, you have to take authorization, you have to take permission. But when you are paying the customs duty, you can use even for restricted goods, right? So you can use it for payment of customs duty, right? You can use it for payment of excise duty, which is only on notified products now, which is only on notified products. Excise duty, Indian excise, central excise duty, which is only on notified products today. So today you have excise duty only on notified goods. Back to basics, back to beginning of GST, back to the beginning of your GST. So it is only on notified products. So you can use it for that purposes. Central excise duty, you can use it for that purposes, right? So you are talking about your tobacco products and petroleum products, right? Petroleum products will have your central excise duty and state VAT, and tobacco will have central excise duty and your GST. So specifically, friends, you are talking about your petroleum products, notified petroleum products plus tobacco products, right? Friends, you can use it for payment of your application fees in foreign trade policy, your compounding fees if you have done any contravention of foreign trade policy in your foreign trade policy. This will be the usage. This will be the usage. You can use it, but you cannot use it. This you can use it. You cannot use it for certain purposes. You cannot use for payment of your GST or IGST portion of customs duty. Even for IGST portion of your customs duty, when I am telling GST, it includes compensation cess. So GST and compensation cess, or even you are talking about IGST and compensation cess portion of your customs duty. So even when you talk about customs duty, you can use it for payment of your BCD, social welfare surcharge, your protective duty, so safeguard duty, anti-dumping duty, anti-subsidizing duty, everything. But you cannot use it for IGST and compensation cess portion of your customs duty. Portion of customs duty. You cannot use it for payment of interest and penalty. Even if it is interest and penalty on customs duty, you cannot use it for payment of interest and penalty. So these things you cannot use for these payments. You cannot use the scrips, and for the earlier payments you can use the scrip, right? For what all purposes you can use the scrip? You can use the scrip for payment of customs duty, but other than IGST portion and compensation cess portion of your customs duty. You can use it for the payment of your excise duty, which is on petroleum products and tobacco products, for your application fees under foreign trade policy. Many places you have to make some application fees, even for compounding fees in your foreign trade policy if you have violated certain provisions of your Foreign Trade Development and Regulations Act. And you cannot use it for your local GST, I mean CGST, SGST or IGST and compensation cess also. You cannot use it for your interest and penalty. So friends, this you have to understand. That is utilization of scrip. Utilization of scrip, for what you can use. If it is used, it will be debited on the back side of the scrip. And these are the payments which you cannot use scrip for. You have to make the payment normally. Scrip cannot be used. Now friends, a lot of times it will happen that exporter is not having any usage of scrip, because assuming that he is not having any import. So exporter may not have any import. When export is not having any import, can he sell the scrip? Yes. Can he sell the scrip? Yes. Sale of scrip is sale of goods. Back to basics again, GST. So your sale of scrip, if you go back to basics of GST, levy of GST is equal to sale of goods, because scrip is equal to goods, movable, right? So levy is very much there. So you have levy of GST. You have levy of GST but no collection. No collection of GST. You have levy but no collection, because the rate of GST. So the rate of GST as of today, on scrip is 0%. Initially when GST was introduced, GST rate on the scrip was 5%, but immediately after 4 to 5 months they changed it to 0%. So can you sell the scrip? Yes. Sale of scrip is equal to sale of goods. So it will attract GST, but levy is there, but there is no collection because the GST rate is 0%. 0%. Friends, this is all about the common points when you talk about your MEIS script and SEIS script. Friends, this would clearly explain how script works. Right, we have discussed this in 3 parts, 1, 2A and 2B. 1 is getting the amount in script. If you are an exporter of goods or exporter of services, make online application. ANF 3A for MEIS shipment basis, ANF 3B for SEIS annual basis after the year end is over, and you will get the amount, you will get the script in piece of paper. It is nothing but a piece of paper, just like an amount in your credit ledger, right? And how either you can use the script, and for what you can use it, for what you cannot use it, we have discussed, or you can sell the script, and that also we have thoroughly discussed. So this entire discussion which is given here, this entire discussion, and rather one point I have left out in this entire discussion, small point that I have left out. You have to use the script. When you are using the script, when you are talking about usage of script, whether by you or to the person to whom you have sold. Now you think that what the other person will do with the script. See, I don't have any usage of script because I don't have any customs duty, but when I am selling the script to you, you may be importing certain goods, you may use the script for paying your customs duty, and sale of script is always at discount. Say for example, the script value say 5 lakh rupees, I will be selling you the script for say 4,50,000. I will be giving you the script for 5 lakhs, but I will be selling you for 4,50,000. Why? You will also have a benefit. You will be having script value of 5 lakhs, which you will use it for payment of customs duty of 5 lakhs. But what you have paid to me is only 4,50,000. So script is always sold at discount. So 2 special points we have to discuss. Script is always sold at discount. And why it is sold? I don't have any import of goods, so I don't have any import duty. There is no usage of script. I will sell to the other person who is going to pay import duty. So when I sell that script to the other person, he will use that script for payment of import duty, and the sale of script will always be at discount. As I explained, the script value is 5 lakh rupees, and if I am selling you the script because you are going to import certain goods, I will sell you the script for a discount, say 4,50,000. So I will give you the script of 5 lakhs, but I will collect only 4,50,000 from you. There is no GST because it is 0%. You will use the script for payment of your customs duty up to 5 lakhs because you have script value of 5 lakhs. Now, whether I utilize it or I sell it and you utilize it, that utilization, friends, should happen within a time of that utilization should happen within a time of 24 months. A very important point. The validity of the script is 24 months. The validity of the script is 24 months. So this validity is very, 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 very important. A repeatedly asked question. Right, one of the important points that we have missed out, now we have completed. Validity of the script is 24. Revalidation generally not allowed except in exceptional cases as given in handbook of procedures. Revalidation is extension. Normally the validity is 24 months. So the moment I get the script, what is the validity? What is meant by validity period? Within 24 months, whatever import duty I am going to pay, I can use the script. So within 24 months of the issue of the script. Within 24 months of the issue of the script. If I don't have any usage, I will sell the script and that person has to use the script, and for him also validity will be from the issuance of script, not from the date of sale of script. Supposing I got the script on say 20th of April 2020, right, and I have sold the script to another person at a discount. So I got a script for value say 5 lakhs. I got script, MEIS script or SEIS script for rupees 5 lakhs on say 20th of April 2020. I was having no usage, therefore I sold the script to another person say on 10th of October 2021. Right, now the other person will use the script. This is nothing but sale of script. Now the other person will use the script, will use the MEIS script or SEIS script for payment of your import duty. I am not focusing on excise duty because it is very rare, right, for payment of import duty. But in import duty you can pay BCD, social welfare surcharge, anti-dumping duty, etc., etc., but you cannot use the script for paying IGST and compensation cess. That has to be paid normally by cash. You cannot use the script for paying your IGST portion and compensation cess portion of your import duty. All the other import duties you can pay using script, but not your IGST and compensation cess. That we have discussed. Now the other person should also use the script on or before. This 2 years will not start from the date of sale. This 2 years will always start from the date of issuance of script. So this 2 years will start when the script was issued to me. So that script was issued on 20th of April 2020. Even though I am not using it, I am selling and the other person is using it, even then the other person should use the script. The other person should use the script on or before 20th of April 2022, 24 months. So even for the other person, the time limit of 24 months will start from the date of issuance of script, not from the date of sale of script. So before 20th of April 2022, the other person to whom the script is sold has to use the script. So friends, this point is an important point, because we think that this 24th month is calculated from the date of sale. No, though the other person, PJ in this case, is going to use the script, even when he is using the script, the validity will not start from the date of purchase of script by PJ, but it will start from the date of issuance of script to VJ. So it will start from the date of issuance of script. You have to focus on 20th of April 2020, the script was issued to VJ. Though it was sold and now the script is going to be used by PJ, it should be used by PJ on or before 20th of April 2022. On or before 20th of April 2022. Though the usage is not by VJ but by PJ, but it should be within 24 months. So this 24 months, 2 years or 24 months starts from the date of issuance of script and never from the date of sale of script, though it is used by the other person. So that, friends, you have to understand. Now friends, if you see all these 3 points, issuance of script, utilization of script, all the points we have discussed, including the important note, and even when you are talking about transferability of the script, we have thoroughly discussed. Now friends, let us focus on your practical questions of MEIS. Actually speaking, we have discussed everything about your MEIS. Let us focus on few important practical aspects of your MEIS. Let us see one example also. Now it will be more of revision only. If you look at these points, it will be more of revision, right? MEIS script is when you are talking about notified goods are exported to notified markets, right? And you have to give a proof of landing of goods, right? Proof of landing of goods is not required. One for an item, that script percentage is the same to all countries. See, when you can export that item to any country and the percentage of MEIS remains the same, only in that case proof of landing is not required. Item X can be exported to any country and the percentage is say 7%, then they don't require proof of landing. If at all item Y is exported and the percentage is different in group A country, group B country, group C country, then they require proof of landing. They require proof of landing for sure. That we have already discussed, because where the goods are landed, whether it has landed in group A country or group B country or group C country, depending on that the percentage of MEIS script will vary. Group A country may have say 10%, group B country may have say 7%, group C country may have say 5%. So you have to submit the proof of landing of your goods in that particular notified market, because your MEIS script for a particular item also it differs for group A country, for group B country, for group C country. So that proof of landing is required. And as already discussed, you should tell that you want MEIS script at the time of export, at the time of filing your shipping bill. At the time of filing your shipping bill or bill of export, you should declare your intent to claim MEIS, and it is mandatory, because it is not annual basis, it is shipment basis. So nothing new. All these points we have already covered. Nothing new. That when you talk about MEIS script, it is notified goods, notified countries. And if the rate of script is same for a particular item, item X in all the group countries, group A, group B, group C countries, then proof of landing is not required. But normally for an item, say item Y, it is different for group A country, different for group B country and different for group C country. Then give the proof of landing. Based on that proof of landing certificate, the percentage of MEIS will be decided. And friends, we have also discussed that MEIS script is shipment basis, transaction basis. So you have to tell that you want MEIS script at the time of export, at the time of filing shipping bill or bill of export, right? And it is mandatory. You cannot tell that no, I forgot. That point will not be valid. And when friends, who are all eligible for MEIS script? When you're talking about eligibility, we have discussed that the only condition is you should be a holder of I code. Whether you're talking about normal export units or dedicated export units like your EOU, SEIS, all are eligible. You should be having import export code. Whether you are a normal unit or a 100% export oriented unit or a special economic zone unit, that really does not make any difference. Now, certain ineligible categories are there. Now, to make you understand these ineligible categories, it is a very simple way to make you understand that. So, supposing you are talking about India, to USA. Are you eligible for MEIS? Yes. You are talking about DTA to EOU. Rather, first we'll take SEZ. Are you eligible for MEIS script? Next, you are talking about DTA to EOU. Say SEZ to USA and EOU to USA. Let us even continue that. Are you eligible or not? That you have to decide. Next, friends, we are talking about SEZ to DTA, DTA to USA, EOU to DTA, DTA to USA. Right. So we are discussing this in a very simple way. I am combining many points and we are discussing in a very simple way. Friends, if it is India to USA, it is eligible. DTA to SEZ, not eligible. It may be treated as export for all the other export benefits, but not for MEIS. Normally, this is treated as export for all the other export benefits, but not for MEIS. Friends, we are discussing about your MEIS script calculation. Now, the discussion is only about MEIS, not about SEIS. And SEZ to USA, it is actual export. Yes. DTA to EOU, deemed export, but not included for MEIS. EOU to USA, yes, included. Special economic zone to domestic tariff area, not included. But domestic tariff area to USA, included. EOU to domestic tariff area, not included within India. DTA to USA, included. Friends, if you look at the summary, a very simple summary, it should go outside India. The goods should be going physically outside India. Normally, when you talk about India to DTA to SEZ and DTA to EOU, normally you give the benefit. Normally in these two cases, it is treated as export and deemed export for other benefits of foreign trade policy. So I am highlighting this. DTA to special economic zone and DTA to EOU are treated as exports and deemed exports respectively for other benefits of foreign trade policy, but not for your MEIS and also not for your SEIS. So that, friends, you have to remember. So that is a very simple way to explain this particular concept. Right. Now, certain other things are also not included. If at all you are talking about a scenario where you are talking about, say, transshipment. The goods are coming from USA to India and say going to China via transshipment. Obviously, transshipment, India has got nothing to do with it. Therefore, this would not be included. And friends, if you are talking about import and re-export, which means that the goods came from USA to India. First it was import. Then you are talking about re-export. So first there was an import, and friends, then there was a re-export. We have already discussed. This will not be taken for the benefit of your export transaction will not be considered for your MEIS script. Right. So these are the two special cases that you have to remember. And the third special case, friends, is exports by, there are special units called as free trade warehousing zones. If export is by free trade warehousing zones, which are treated as separate units within India, foreigners, which are treated as a part which is in India but always treated as outside India, free trading warehousing zones. So very special zones. These are under old schemes, but still these warehousing zones still continue. It is not counted. Three special cases. Transshipment not counted. Import and re-export, that re-export is not counted. Export from FTWZ, free trade warehousing zones, is not counted. Now all you have to understand is these three special examples and these 5 normal examples. When you see these 3 special examples and these 5 normal examples, you will get all these points except one more case, one more scenario, last scenario. Rather than these 5, there is a last scenario as well. So not 3 special scenarios, it is 4. If export is on the condition of minimum export price or on payment of export duty. If you are talking about if export is on the basis of minimum export price, they have fixed the minimum export price, telling that you have to export at a particular price, or it is subject to export duty, or if an export of goods is subject to export duty, then friends, it is not counted. Special cases which are not counted for your MEIS script. These are special cases. If you see the special cases, you will find that actually there is an export. So India to USA, there is an export, but it requires minimum export price or export duty, don't count it. There is actually export when you talk about free trade warehousing zones, but don't count it. And there is an export when you talk about USA, India, China, but it is transshipment. But it is transshipment concept that you discuss in your customs, transit and transshipment. It is a transshipment case, not counted. So the goods are stopping and going. So the goods, actually what is happening, the goods stop here, India, but they proceed to China. So transit as well as transshipment not counted. Not counted. Right. So you can technically, it is import and re-export but not counted. And actual import and re-export. So you're importing something, doing something, say repair work or some other work, and you're re-exporting, not counted. So in all these cases, friends, one important thing that you have to understand, in all these cases, technically, we are talking about, say, India to USA or India to China, whatever is, India to USA or other country, which means that it was going to the other country. It was technically export, but you don't count it still, right? So if you look at these 4 special cases, and the normal case was very simple. Normal case is very simple. Normal case tells that if it is actually going outside India, only then it will be counted. Whether it is India, USA or special economic zone in India, USA, or EOU to USA or DTA to USA or DTA to USA, I mean that will be counted. If this is a very normal case. If at all it happens to be a scenario where you are talking about DTA to your special economic zone, DTA to special economic zone or DTA to EOU or special economic zone to DTA, EOU to DTA, that is not counted, right? So your deemed exports, I mean your exports DTA to special economic zone and deemed exports DTA to EOU is not counted, and your import or deemed import, SEIS to DTA or EOU to DTA is import or deemed import, that is also not counted. Actual export, it should actually go outside India. So that is a common point that you understand from these 5 examples. And what you understand from these examples is, though it is actually export, if you see all these examples, one thing you have to understand that it is actually export, it is going from India to other country, but still it is not counted. Why? Either you are talking about minimum export price being there, or export duty being there, or you are talking about free trade warehousing zones, or you are talking about transshipment, it is coming to India but going to other country, or you are talking about import and re-export. Friends, if you understand these 5 normal examples and these 4 special cases, we are done with what is to be counted and what is not to be counted. What is to be counted and what is not to be counted. And friends, as discussed, what is counted is nothing but which is physically going outside India, and even there are 4 cases, though it is physically going outside India, you don't count it. Now, in whatever is counted, you have to take what? Notified percentage of FOB value. What is FOB value? Lower of FOB value declared in the shipping bill or what is realized in convertible foreign currency. And friends, when export of certain goods, what are the certain goods? That is handicraft items, handloom items, books and periodicals, leather footwears, your toys and tailor-made, ready-made garments. So specified items, I will repeat the items. It is handicraft goods, handicraft garment, handicraft items, handloom products. It is leather products or leather footwears, books and periodicals, or it is toys or tailor-made fashion garments, In all these cases, you can export through courier or foreign post office using e-commerce. You can sell it, export it through your Amazon or Flipkart or any other e-commerce mode. So when you are exporting selected items, not all items, handicraft items, handloom items, books, periodicals, leather footwears, toys, not leather, all the items, leather footwears, toys, tailor-made fashion garments through courier or foreign post office using electronic commerce, then if you are exporting through electronic commerce and it is going via post or courier, then the limit that you have to consider is 5 lakh per consignment. Friends, you will be confused with this 5 lakh per consignment because we have already discussed. Friends, understand that if you are exporting through courier, actually you cannot export more than 5 lakhs. If you are exporting through post, you can export more than 5 lakhs, but what will be considered for MEIS script is only 5 lakhs. So if I were to tell this in a very simple way, very simple way, export of selected goods, if it is normal mode, which means you are talking about you're not talking about post or courier, you are talking about filing of shipping bill or bill of export and normal mode that you are discussing customs. And if it is via your post or courier, that's a difference. Friends, what are the specified goods that we have discussed? Handloom, handicraft, you are talking about leather footwear, toys, books and periodicals, tailor-made fashion garments. These are the specified goods. Friends, if it is normal mode, there's no limit. Limitless. So even if it is say 10 lakhs FOB, you will consider 10 lakhs. Right? If it is through post or courier, now understand the difference. If it is through post or courier, first you have to understand the difference. Through courier, through international courier terminals, what you can export is only maximum 5 lakhs. Through courier, you can export maximum only 5 lakhs. And through post, there is no limit for export. You can export through post any item. But if you are talking about through courier, you are exporting say for 4 lakhs. Right. So maximum limit itself with 5 lakhs, and what will be counted for your MIS script is? What will be counted for your MIS script is also 5 lakhs. So say up to maximum is 5 lakhs. The maximum items or goods that you can give through a consignment, have in a consignment and courier is 5 lakhs, and what will be counted is only maximum 5 lakhs. So it doesn't make any difference. So say it can be say 4 lakhs. So for courier it really doesn't make any difference. You have to link this point with your export policy of your post and courier. If you don't understand the export policy of post and courier, this point will not make sense. And through post, you can courier goods worth any value, but the maximum limit that will be counted for your MEIS script, the maximum limit that will be counted for your MEIS script is 5 lakhs, which means that say this point again receives, you have to focus on this point. Say you have exported through post 10 lakhs, but what will be counted for your MEIS script is only 5 lakhs. Now friends, if you look at the difference, all these notified or specified goods, if they are exported through normal mode, shipping bill or bill of export, then if you have shown 10 lakhs export, entire 10 lakhs is eligible for MEIS. If at all you are exporting the same through post or courier, through courier, maximum item that you can export is only 5 lakhs. So you cannot actually export more than 5 lakhs. And the maximum amount for MEIS is also 5 lakhs. So I have taken the example of 4 lakhs and that is eligible for MEIS. See, there are two checks. Through courier, you can export only 5 lakhs consignment. One consignment can only up to be 5 lakhs, and even for MEIS, maximum limit is 5 lakhs. So there will be no mismatch. But through post, you can export goods without any limit. So friends, if you have exported goods say for 10 lakhs, but for MEIS script it will be counted only as 5 lakhs. So that friends you have to understand. This is a very important point, a repeatedly asked point. And friends, when you talk about this electronic commerce, we have already discussed the meaning of electronic commerce in your GSC. Electronic commerce means your buying and selling of goods, including goods and services, including digital products over digital or electronic platform or facility. And for the purpose of MEIS, what will happen? The goods are posted on a website. So I am putting my goods, all these notified goods on my website, and the other party is interested in the goods. He'll order the goods, I'll dispatch the goods to courier or post, and I have to receive the payment by way of international credit cards and debit cards, read along with the RBI circular which gets updated from time to time. So normal thing, I am exporter of certain notified goods, these handloom items, handicraft item, etc. Someone has used my website and ordered me those goods, and I am exporting those I am exporting those goods. Even say my materials, say study revise crack, if that is ordered, I'll export if that is ordered from a student, CA student, say studying outside India, say for example Dubai. So I'll send that books and periodicals by post or courier, which is allowed. So even books and periodicals was one of the item. It is allowed. And all I have to ensure that when I am getting the payment, I should get in a prescribed mode through your international credit card or debit card, and the mode should be as per the mode prescribed by RBI circular, which gets updated from time to time. So that point, friends, you have to understand. Now before seeing this common point, this is a common point both for your MIS and SEIS. We will take this in the end. Right. Before seeing that, now let us take an example and complete your totally MIS script. Now determine the reward under your MEIS with the following information. Determine the reward under your MEIS given the following information, assuming that your MEIS percentage is 7%. Item A, FOB value declared in shipping bill is 6 lakhs, but what is realized is 6,30,000, whichever is lower. So what I'll take is 6,30,000. 6 lakh rupees, not 6,30,000, whichever is lower. 6 lakh FOB value declared in shipping bill, what I have realized is 6,30,000, which will rarely happen, maybe because of delayed payment. So what I will take is only 6 lakhs. Item B, FOB value declared in shipping bill is 2 lakhs, and what I have realized is 1,80,000 due to exchange loss. Right. So what I will take is whichever is lower, 1,80,000. Now next point, item C, through foreign post office, FOB value is 5,50,000. Though it is 5,50,000, what is the limit for your MIS script when it is export through post or courier? I will stop only at 5 lakhs. Though it is 5,50,000, I will stop only at 5 lakhs. Export of item D through courier, and through courier you cannot export a consignment more than 5 lakhs, so I have taken 4,50,000. And what I will take for calculation for your MEIS script is 4,50,000. Export of item E, liable to export duty. Any item which is liable to export duty is not eligible for your MIS. I am not at all seeing the value, ineligible. And friends, export of item A to special economic zone unit. Though normally when you give something to special economic zone, you get all the benefits of foreign trade policy, but not MEIS, SEIS, not MEIS and SEIS. So this is ineligible. I'll repeat, normally when you give something to SEZ and EOU, you are entitled for benefits of your foreign trade policy, but not your MEIS script and SEIS script. So if you total the FOB values, you will get around 6 lakh, 11 lakhs, 15 lakh 50,000, 16 lakh 50,000, 17 lakh 30,000. So your total value will be 17 lakh 30,000. So 10 lakh 50,000, 15 lakh 50,000 and 16 lakh 50,000 plus 80,000 is 17 lakh 30,000. And what will be the percentage of script? You have to take the 17 lakh 30,000 multiplied by 7% will be the MEIS script. Script value is not 17 lakh 30,000, it is the FOB value multiplied by 7%. Use your calculator, you will get that particular percentage. Right. That is all about your MEIS script. Repeatedly ask questions when you talk about it, to be very clear what is counted, what is not counted, and you will get the answer of your MEIS script. And before that, you should be very clear with the concept. So we have spent a quality time in discussing the concept. Now friends, let us see your SEIS script and let us even complete this in the same manner. Now when you talk about SEIS script, friends, as already discussed, when you talk about your SEIS script, it is the export of notified services to any market, any country, right? And when you talk about your SEIS script, what are the conditions? The first two conditions we have already discussed. You should be a holder of I code at the time of exporting or rendering such service, and you should be getting net foreign exchange currency. It is on annual basis. You apply of SEIS script on annual basis, and you have to satisfy the minimum net and foreign exchange criteria. So minimum foreign exchange earnings in the year of rendering of service, that is current year, should be, for individual and sole proprietorship concern, net foreign exchange earnings should be $10,000. For others, minimum net foreign exchange should be $15,000. And friends, when you are talking about foreign currency through international credit cards, they shall be considered. So if you are getting foreign currency through international credit cards, as we have discussed, my services offered, say for example, my classes are taken by students in the learning CA in Dubai. Now he will make the payment through international credit card. Whether that will be counted? Yes, very much that will be counted. And in very certain special cases, payment in Indian rupees will be allowed only in certain cases prescribed by RBI. One of such example we have discussed is export of services to Nepal, Bhutan, and the list of such services are indicated in Appendix 3, which is not given for your exams. So you have an Appendix 3E in your foreign trade policy, rather in your handbook of procedures, volume 1. That will give the list of services where for notified services, specified services, you can get Indian rupees and that will be treated as receipt in convertible foreign currency. So Indian rupees is allowed in very rare case, notified services only, very rare case. So that is a very special case. Normally you should get convertible foreign currency. Exceptionally for specified services specified in Appendix 3E, you can get Indian rupees. And payment through international credit card will be allowed. Now, when you're talking about this particular transaction, you have to understand, I've given a very simple example, very simple example, right? Let me explain this through a very simple concept. Your India, what is counted and what is not counted, we'll discuss. Your India to USA will be counted. Service provider India, service recipient in USA will be counted. Service recipient, say US citizen who is in India, service consumer who is in India, right, that also will be counted. But if at all you are talking about branch office of Indian company, branch office of Indian company, branch office of your Indian company, if that is giving services, branch office of your Indian company in USA, giving services in USA, that won't be counted, So they are very clear. And specifically you are talking about another scenario where you are talking about Indian company giving services to Indian citizen, or a USA based company, that is a separate establishment itself, giving services to USA citizen. Now if I take all these examples, what is counted is only the first two scenarios. Service provider in India, service recipient in USA. Service provider in India to a service recipient, that is service consumer in India but of other country. That service recipient is belongs, the consumer is of other country. So US citizen who is coming to India for say education or treatment, etc. But if at all you are talking about a branch office of Indian company in USA providing services in USA, not counted, because you have a separate establishment in USA. From there you are giving services to a USA client, that is not counted. Indian establishment providing services to Indian citizen, not counted. USA company, you have a separate company in USA, holding company, which is providing services to USA client, that is not counted. This is the very simple way to understand rather than seeing the theoretical point. So you are talking about service provider in India, service recipient outside India, counted. Service provider in India, service recipient or service consumer of other country, say for example USA, but in India. So service recipient or service consumer of other country in India, that is also counted. But friends, when you talk about your establishment of Indian company in USA to a USA client, not counted. Indian company providing services to its Indian client, Indian citizen, not counted. Or Indian citizen or Indian company. Rather than writing Indian citizen, better to write it as Indian company, not counted. USA company providing services to USA client, not counted. So that, friends, is detailedly given here. So whatever we have discussed through the help of examples, it is clearly given in this particular case. And friends, I have said an example where you are talking about supplier and service provider in India providing services to a service consumer in India. So service provider in India to a service consumer of other country, say example USA in India, For say for example firms providing educational services to NRI students. So you are talking about educational institution giving education to NRI students on payment of forex are eligible for SEIS, as well as hospitals providing healthcare services. Say for example Trump is having say a heart problem and he is coming for surgery in India, right? So your Indian hospital is providing healthcare services to foreigner visiting in India for medical treatment, and obviously the payment is say in foreign currency. That payment should be in foreign currency. That is, even if it is given to a foreign consumer who is in India, it should be on foreign currency. So you should not forget that. In both these cases, I should have clearly mentioned that it will be counted only if you are talking about receipt in foreign currency. The receipt should be in foreign currency. Only for notified services, receipt can be in Indian rupees. Generally, even for the second part of the transaction, the receipt should be in foreign currency. So that, friends, you have to understand. Now, how to calculate that percentage? Notified percentage on net foreign exchange earnings. On net foreign exchange earnings. So the notified percentage, it may be 3% or 5%. The question will give you the percentage. So this 3% or 5%, let us call it as net for notified percentage. It should be on net foreign exchange earnings from the notified services. What is net foreign exchange earnings, friends? We are talking about gross earnings from foreign exchange services in the service sector that we have discussed earlier, foreign exchange relating to the service sector, less total expenses or payment or remittances in foreign exchange relating to that service sector. So for that services, you will have even expenses in foreign currency. Reduce that. So gross receipt of foreign currency from a notified service sector, take that. Deduct expenses or payment or remittances in foreign currency against that particular notified services. Deduct that. You will get net foreign exchange earnings. And right, friends, when you are talking about net foreign exchange earnings, few things that you have to understand. Few things. Supposing you are an exporter of goods as well as exporter of services, you should focus only on exporter of service turnover. If at all you are talking about exporter of goods as well as exporter of service, please focus only on exporter of service turnover. So first clarification that they give is the foreign exchange earnings and the expenses only in capacity of service provider should be considered. So if you are exporter of goods as well as services, only the foreign exchange earnings and the related expenses dealing with service sector should be considered. Dealing with goods sector, ignore. Dealing with goods sector, please ignore. Second, if at all you are talking about foreign exchange earnings not related to provision of services, should not be counted. If at all you are talking about foreign exchange earnings that you are getting, but it is not related to any service, it shall not be considered, and the list is given below. Friends, you are talking about say equity or debt participation, any donations received by you, it has got nothing to do with your service, or any loans received by you, or equity of debt participation by the foreign investors, loans, other foreign exchange inflow, they are not related to rendering of service, will not be eligible. Friends, if I were to put this in a very simple way, right, if at all you are talking about exporter of goods category as well as exporter of service, right, you should focus on your net foreign exchange. Your net foreign exchange dealing with goods sector, please ignore. Only dealing with service sector, focus on. Only your net foreign exchange which is dealing with service sector, please count it. Please count that. And even here, there are certain things that you should not take into account. Friends, if you are talking about financial services, like receiving the amount as loans or debts participation, equity or debt participation, you are issuing, the company is issuing equity shares to foreigners, right? So you are talking about your equity or debt participation by foreigners, equity or debt participation by foreigners. It has got nothing to do with the services, or issuing securities, or you are talking about issuing bonds. Say my company is issuing bonds to foreigners or issuing securities to foreigners, or my company is getting loans from foreign people, right? That has got nothing to do with the services. Don't count it, etc. Those financial services will not be counted, right? And friends, if my company is getting foreign remittance for the laborers employed for my laborers who are employed in USA. So I am getting foreign remittance, but my laborers for what? For my employees or laborers who are working in USA and providing the services from there. So if my employees are going there and providing services from there, it will not be counted. If I am getting foreign remittance which is against my labor or my employees who's there in USA and providing the services to my USA client, that remittance will not be counted. Even that remittance will not be counted. An educational institution or a clinical establishment which is getting the amount by way of equity participation or debt participation by foreigners, even that would not be counted. Even that will not be counted. Friends, if you see all these points, there are other points also. First, let us again summarize these points and see the other points. If you talk about financial services are not counted. So if your company is getting loans from outside India, or there is a equity or debt participation by foreigners, or your company is giving securities to foreigners who are making the payment to you, all will come in foreign currency, or bonds are issued, etc. That will not be counted. If your company is getting foreign remittance for your employees or laborers who are employed outside India, which means that my company is having employees outside India permanently and they are working from that, and for that I am getting the remittance, because I am going to pay them the salary. My clients are giving me the remittance, and I in turn will pay the salaries to my employees who are actually permanently outside India. That also will not be counted. Any establishment, not necessarily education or clinical establishment, receiving the amount by way of equity or debt participation, rather that is the repetition, because that was already covered by the point number 1. So point number 3 and 4 was nothing but a repetition which they have given. That will not be counted. And what are the other things that will not be counted? Friends, if you are talking about other things, if at all you are talking about giving services, DTA, giving services to EOU will not be counted, or DTA, giving services to special economic zone, DTA, giving services to special economic zone, even that will not be counted. This is the 4 points we have discussed. Fifth point. So DTA, giving services to EOU, again here you don't have the concept of deemed exports and exports. SEIS is actual export. You don't count it. You don't count it. It will not be counted. It will not be counted. Though for other benefits of foreign trade policies, these transactions are counted, but not for your MEIS scrip and SEIS scrip. Obviously, if I continue this and if I tell that EOU is exporting the services to USA, obviously SEZ is exporting the services to USA, that will be counted for sure. That will be counted for sure. And friends, the other things, when you are talking about airline companies and shipping line companies, they getting the foreign remittance for a transportation which is done from say USA to Australia. So it is not touching India. Indian airline company or Indian shipping line company, this is very common for airline sector and shipping line sector. This is only for airline sector and shipping line sector. Indian airline company or Indian shipping line company is getting the payment for transportation of goods or transportation of services from USA to Australia without touching India. Friends, this won't be counted because it has got nothing to do with export. So that Indian airline company or shipping line company is getting the transportation charges for transporting the goods or passengers from USA to Australia, and it is not touching India. It will not be counted. And when you talk about service and telecom sector being specifically telecom sector, your telecommunication sector. So your telecommunication sector getting foreign remittance, that would not be counted because it is not eligible. That would not be counted. Now friends, if you see all these ineligible categories, first point, when you talk about financial services, we have discussed, we are talking about your earning through contract or regular employment abroad, labor remittances, that we have discussed. This point we have to discuss healthcare institution, educational institution, getting the amount through equity or debt participation, donations, even donations, that we have discussed. Deemed exports point we have discussed. Airline company point, shipping line company point we have discussed. Telecom sector point we have discussed. DTA to special economic zone we have discussed. Now there are two small points that you have left out. if you are getting the payments, the moment you are getting the payments, if the payment is received by exchange earners foreign currency account, that would not be counted. If you are getting the payment from exchange earners foreign currency account, though the name is exchange earners foreign currency account, the amount will not be in foreign currency, so that is not going to be counted. So if the recipient is making the payment through exchange earners foreign currency account, that you will not consider, that you are not going to consider. So that point you have to keep in mind. Now if you look at all these points, and the last point is telling that clubbing is not allowed. Clubbing of turnover, you are not allowed clubbing. So you cannot club the service turnover of DTA, and you cannot club service turnover of EOU. Whenever I am talking about export oriented units, automatically you will talk about electronic hardware technology park, software technology park and biotechnology park. This clubbing is not allowed. This clubbing is not allowed. Friends, if you look at all these points, you will find very simple solution. If you look at the first 4 points, they were very simple solutions. They have said that if any company is getting the payment by way of loan or equity participation, debt participation, securities, bonds, even donations, friends, donations are not counted. It has got no connection with service sector. Don't count it. If you are getting remittance through your regular employment outside India, your employee is permanently there in USA and working for a foreign client, USA client, and for which you are getting the remittance, that will not be counted, because you will get a higher remittance and the salary that you are going to pay employee will be lesser. So that will not be counted. Both the remittance as well as the payment won't be counted. And if you are talking about your educational institution or clinical institutions, a repetition, that equity or debt participation by foreigners, or you are talking about donations by foreigners in foreign exchange, that will not be. It has got nothing to do with service. Friends, if you look at all these points, it has got nothing to do with the service. Now other points are important. DTA to EOU, not counted. DTA to special economic zone, not counted, just like your MEIS. But actual export from EOU or SEZ or from DTA to outside India, that will be counted. For airline sector and shipping line sector, that's a specific point. If at all it deals with transportation of goods and services from one country to another country and not touching India, that is not counted, because it has got nothing to do with your export turnover. Telecommunication sector, entire turnover is not counted. And if you are receiving the payment through your exchange earners foreign currency account, that is also not counted. And clubbing is not allowed. Your export service turnover of DTA will not be clubbed with the export service turnover of EOU. Here clubbing is also prohibited. Normally friends, I am again highlighting this in a special color. Normally for your other benefits of foreign trade policy, DTA to EOU is counted, DTA to special economic zone is counted. But for your MEIS script and SEIS script, this is not counted. Friends, if you understand this, you are done with this entire discussion. An example would complete this entire discussion. Right, you are talking about VJ Limited, a service provider of an exporter of specified service, is asking you to compute its duty credit scrip entitlement for the current financial year under SEIS scrip, assuming that the notified percentage is 5%. Supply from India to US $50,000. Whether that will be counted? Yes. $50,000 is gross, so you have to deduct. Your focus is on net foreign exchange earnings. Supply from India to service consumer of China and Russia. So these consumers of China and Russia has come in India, but they have paid convertible foreign currency $20,000. Whether that is counted? Yes. So it is India to consumers of foreign country in India, that is also counted. Now friends, if you are talking about from India to a commercial branch in a city of Australia, which means that now Indian company is having a branch in Australia, through that branch it is providing services to an Australian client, that is not counted. That is not at all counted. Now supply from India through presence of employees in a city of Japan, even that we have discussed. The employees are sitting in Japan and that remittance we are not going to count. Why? The employees are permanently sitting in Japan and providing services to Japan. See, whether you have a branch in Australia or whether you have permanent employees in Japan, it means one and the same. Whether you have a branch in Australia and you are providing service to Australian client, your physical presence is, your branch is there in Australia, you are providing service to Australian client, that will not be counted. Or you don't have any branch in Japan, but you are having permanent employees in Japan. You don't have any establishment, but you have permanent employees in Japan and they are providing services to Japan client. Even then, though you don't have any physical establishment, but your employees are permanently there, even that will not be counted. Even that will not be counted. Now friends, the total expenses of payments of VJ Limited related to aforesaid supplies are 5% of the gross receipts in foreign exchange. So instead of giving the particular particular expenses in foreign currency, they have said that the total expenses related to aforesaid services 5%. Normally it will not be 5% and all. They will give you the exact amount. And friends, you have to focus on net foreign exchange. So that point becomes very, very relevant. So you have to deduct 5%. You have to deduct 5%. So you are going to deduct $2,500 here. So net foreign exchange is $47,000, $47,500, and 5% even for $20,000, which is $1,000. That is, it is $19,000. Net foreign exchange is $19,000. Now another 10% of gross receipts in Indian rupees. Now when you are talking about deduction, what you are going to deduct is only the expenses in foreign exchange you are going to deduct. The expenses in foreign exchange you are going to deduct. The expenses in Indian rupees you are not going to deduct. Expenses that you have done in Indian rupees you are not going to deduct. That is an important point. Expenses in foreign currency, that amount you are going to deduct, and expenses in Indian rupees, please do not deduct. So when you talk about net foreign exchange earnings, when you are focusing on gross earnings in foreign currency, that amount minus your expenses is huge. Your expenses is total 15%, but only 5% is in foreign currency. Only that amount you have to deduct. Another very important point. So expenses in Indian currency related to that service, please do not deduct. Now it is also informing that VJ Limited is also informing that it has received loan of $5,000 from US. That loan of $5,000 will not be considered because it has got nothing to do with the services. And friends, your net foreign exchange would be $47,500 plus $19,000, which will be $66,500. And your SEIS script will be $66,500 multiplied by 5%. So your SEIS script will be obviously in Indian rupees. You have to convert that into Indian rupees by applying the CBIC rate. So you are going to go with this percentage. First thing you have to understand is it is not gross foreign currency, it is net foreign currency, net foreign exchange earnings. So you have to deduct it. And second important point you have to understand is the deduction will be only that of expenses in foreign exchange, not expenses in Indian rupees. And any other amount that you have received nothing to do with service, please do not include it. Take that amount, multiplied by the notified percentage, which is given 5%. Take that percentage, you will get the SEIS script value. That is all about your calculation of SEIS script. That is everything about your MEIS script and SEIS script. Now friends, there was one point which was left out, and which I said that it is common both for your MEIS and SEIS. It is common both for your MEIS and SEIS. Now what is that common point? Rather, this should have been given under the common category. What is this common point? You cannot transfer, the export performance cannot be transferred from one import export code holder to another import export code holder. It's not permitted. Right. So just like your star category, 1-star house, 2-star export house, 3-star export house, etc., etc. That transfer of export performance cannot be done by one I code holder to another I code holder. But this MEIS claim can be claimed by supporting manufacturer with a disclaimer from the company who has actually realized the foreign exchange. That's even true for your SEIS script. That is even true for your SEIS script. Now, friends, understand this particular point. Rather, we'll discuss only with what is given in your ICA model. They have spoken only about your MEIS script. Understand that if at all you are talking about your exports, right? This VJ in this case is called as, friends, VJ to PJ, PJ to USA. VJ and PJ are in India. These both companies are in India. Right. Now what are they trying to tell? Now friends, this export performance, actual export is done only by PJ. Actual export is done only by PJ. So this export performance, this is normal supply, this is export. This export performance will be counted only for PJ. Transferring it to VJ, supporting manufacturer is not allowed. Technically this VJ is called as supporting manufacturer. That transfer of export performance from one IE code holder to another IE code holder is not allowed. Friends, this is true for your status holder category, your MEIS and your SEIS. Right, normal point. But there's one exception for the same. One exception. Now that exception is not actually acting as exception. What that exception is trying to tell? This exception tells that though it is export performance of PJ, if at all you are talking about your MEIS script, specifically MEIS, they don't focus on your, we are not talking about your status holder category, that is star houses, and we are not talking about SEIS script. For MEIS, this MEIS benefit can be taken either by PJ or can be taken either by VJ. Now if MEIS is taken by PJ, the actual exporter, it is a normal thing, very normal thing. But if it is taken by VJ, it is a special case where he is a supporting manufacturer. There should be a disclaimer from PJ that he is not going to claim MEIS. Right? Though the foreign exchange is received by PJ, but MEIS is claimed by VJ. So this is a very special scenario where the supporting manufacturer claims the MEIS script, though the actual foreign exchange receipt was by PJ, subject to condition that this disclaimer should be given by PJ. Friends, what I am trying to tell, only the actual exporter, only and only the actual exporter, only the actual exporter will get the benefit of including it in his export performance, including this in his export performance. So your actual exporter will include his export only in his turnover, only in his turnover. And friends, this is true for your star houses, this is true for your star houses, 1 star, 2 star, 3 star. This is true for your MEIS, this is true for your SEIS, which means that in our example, friends, the actual exporter was say PJ Limited. PJ Limited. Right, so it will be counted in export performance, export turnover only of PJ Limited. In star house category, it will be counted only in export turnover of PJ Limited. Even in MEIS, it will be counted in export turnover only of PJ Limited in SEIS. So till this, it is only PJ Limited. VJ is not coming into picture. VJ is not coming into picture. And friends, the benefit of the star house, this is inclusion of export turnover in PJ Limited. The benefit of the star house can be claimed only by PJ Limited, and benefit of SEIS script is also can be claimed only by PJ Limited. It is included in export turnover of PJ Limited. Also the benefit of star house and SEIS script can be claimed only by PJ Limited. But benefit of MEIS script, though it is included in export turnover of PJ Limited, benefit of MEIS script can be claimed either by actual exporter PJ Limited or even by supporting manufacturer VJ Limited. So this is very special, only for your MEIS. Right? This MEIS script can be either claimed by the actual exporter PJ Limited or the supporting manufacturer VJ Limited. And when the supporting manufacturer is claiming, he should give a disclaimer from the actual exporter PJ Limited. Whereas when you talk about your SEIS script, it can be claimed only by the actual exporter PJ Limited. Whereas when you are talking about star house category, this transfer is not allowed. It can be claimed only that that turnover will be added only in the turnover of PJ Limited, and the benefit can also be claimed only by your PJ Limited. So friends, this you have to understand. This is a differentiating point, not so important point, but it is one of the minute point which you can expect in your MCQs. See friends, after MCQs has come, you have to look a question from all the angles. This 360 degrees approach will be required. Only because of that, this minute point which is given somewhere in nook and corner of your foreign trade policy, even that point we are discussing. Right, to put in a nutshell, SEIS script will be given only to the actual exporter, and the turnover will also be counted only in the actual exporter's turnover. The same is true with star houses. But when you talk about MEIS script, the benefit can be taken either by the actual exporter, in our example PJ Limited, or by the supporting manufacturer who has supplied to PJ Limited. But that supporting manufacturer, when he is claiming the benefit, he should give a disclaimer certificate from PJ Limited that he is not, PJ Limited is not claiming MEIS script, I am claiming MEIS script. So that has to be given. And that is all about your reward schemes, MEIS script and SEIS script.